Hi everybody, this is Saphirre, your favorite French Canadian. Today I'm gonna do a guide of Tower of Fantasy on how to boost your FPS. Pretty decent game honestly, and also it's running well on my desktop and even on my laptop with an integrated GPU. It feels a little bit like Genshin Impact when it released, but you can have the 120 FPS in this game, so it's pretty amazing. So we're gonna start with an optimization of Windows, and after that we're gonna go inside of the game. So now the best setting for Windows for gaming. So first of all, we're gonna search for game mode in the search bar. Make sure that game mode is activated for the past year. It's pretty good. You're getting a decent performance, and you're gonna make sure that all your resources are focused on the game that you're playing. For the Xbox game bar, I still recommend to deactivate this one, causing stuttering, crashing in some games. So I'm not a huge fan of the Xbox game bar. And for the capture, make sure that the background recording is at off, and also the recorded audio is at off. Another thing that I recommend, it's the hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. Make sure that you're searching for graphics setting. You will need an NVIDIA card, 1000 series or more recent. It will really help with bottlenecks. So if you have a 1050, 1050 Ti, 1060, even the 2060, you can expect a nice 2 to 5% boost. And also you can expect less stuttering when you're using that. So I really recommend to use that. Another thing that is really important, it's your driver. Make sure that you have the latest driver from AMD, NVIDIA, even Intel if you have an iGPU on your processor. So for an example here with AMD, you just click check for update and it's gonna show you if you have the latest one. You can do the same thing with NVIDIA. Another thing that I can recommend with the NVIDIA and AMD, they have an image scaling for the past a couple of months. From AMD, it's called Super Resolution, and for NVIDIA, it's NIS. I have dedicated video who's gonna show you how to use that and how to configure it. But to explain you quickly what it's about, so you need to enable this. So for example, I'm playing in 2K because my monitor is in 2K. I'm going inside of my game. I lower the resolution at 1080p, and the software will scale it back at 2K. And with this process, I can save 15-20% in my FPS. Also, you can do it if you have a 4K monitor and you want to do 1080p or 2K. You can expect a nice boost. The image quality will not be the same if you compare with native, but in some game it's working very well, and it's very tough to see the difference. So I recommend to use it if you're struggling with your FPS. Another thing that I recommend, it's your energy profile. So write energy in your search bar, go to power option. Make sure that you're running something like balance or high performance. On a desktop computer, it should not be an issue, but if you're playing on a laptop, really make sure that you're using that or a special profile for performance from your brand like Asus, Dell, or whatever. The thing is, sometimes when you plug your PC in the wall, unplug, using it with the battery, sometimes it stay at power saver and you don't want to use that when you're playing a game. So super important to be plugged in and also to use a proper performance profile. Another thing that I can recommend, it's the Intelligent Standby List Cleaner. This is a software made by the guy from DDU. It's pretty amazing, honestly. It will help if you don't have a lot of RAM in your PC. So if you have 4 gig of RAM, 8 gig, 12 gig, after that, you should be fine. Windows is doing the job properly. So it will free memory, and it's gonna make sure that it optimizes your standby list. So what I recommend normally, it's look at your total memory. Here in my case, it's 32. Just divide it by 2. So for me, it's 16. Just press start and it will run automatically, and you just lower the software like that, and you're gonna make sure it's optimized. So it's a really good software, and also it helps a little bit with stuttering, so I really recommend to use that. One last thing is I have dedicated video on my channel about overclocking CPU, overclocking GPU, depending on your brand and stuff. And it's pretty good because there are basic overclocking guide. I don't touch voltage, so it's pretty safe. You can expect sometimes 2%, 10% boost in your FPS depending on your thermal, depending on your component. But it's something that you need to look at too if you want to optimize your PC for the best performance. So now let's go inside of the game. So now inside of the game. So first of all, in the basic setting, go to camera preference. Make sure that your camera vibration is at off, and also your discharge skill animation is at off. It will help a little bit to stabilize your FPS and to have like a better viewing experience. Also, I recommend to show FPS because you want to know when you change stuff inside of the game if you're getting more FPS or less. After that, we're gonna go to display. So first of all, in display, I recommend to go to custom. So the first thing. After that, same screen Wanderer. This is the amount of player that you can see. So honestly, if you're playing on like an integrated GPU or a very old computer, you're struggling with all the games, just go with 5. It will help you a lot. I recommend to start at 14 if you're playing on a like just a normal computer. Do my old guide. If you're struggling with your FPS, lower it, and if everything looks fine, you can definitely put this number higher. After that, we're gonna go to advanced setting. For the texture, if you have 4 gig and more of VRAM on your GPU, you can definitely play at extreme. It will not affect your FPS. If you have something like 3 gig, go with high. Medium, go with 2 gig. And if you have less than 2 gig on VRAM on your GPU, go with low. For the material quality, I did a couple of tests. Extreme to high, you will save 3% of your FPS. High to medium, another 3%. But when I compare medium to low, I just saw a difference of 1%. So that's why I recommend to go with medium with material quality. The last one is vegetation. This one is really important for your FPS. For each bracket, you're getting 4% boost in your FPS. So extreme to high, 4 when you go at medium, and another 4 when you're going at low. So that's why I recommend to go with low. After that, anti-aliasing. Not a huge fan in this game. The anti-aliasing makes the game a little bit blurry, and also you will gain a nice amount of FPS. And when you remove the aliasing in the game is not bad, so the game looks decent. So that's why I'm just removing it, and you're getting a nice 6% boost in your FPS. If you want to use it, you can definitely like use 2x. 8x is taking a lot of resources. I don't recommend it. For the FPS, I recommend to just unlock your FPS at 120 if you have a high refresh rate monitor. So 144 Hz, 120 Hz, 240, whatever. If you're playing on a laptop and you have some thermal issue and you only have a 60 Hz screen, just lock your FPS at 60. It will be better for you to stabilize your FPS. The last one is shading. If you're playing on a very old computer and integrate GPU again, just put the shading at off. And if you just have like a decent computer, it can be like a mid-range computer that you bought like 4 years ago, you can definitely run shading without too much issue. You will lose like 1 to 2% in your FPS, so not a huge deal. So this is pretty much it, guys. If you have any question about Tower of Fantasy, just comment in the YouTube section, post me your rig, CPU, GPU, and RAM. I will try to help you the best that I can. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Peace.